Well, it looks like the Bengals may be without starting quarterback Joe Burrow for an extended period of time. Burrow left Sunday's game against the Jags in the second quarter with a turf toe injury and did not return. According to reports, if surgery is necessary, Burrow would be expected to miss up to 3 months. And from where we're now joined by CBS Sports injury analyst Marty Jaramillo on the heels of Joe Burrow's recent injury. And Marty, he was seen post-game wearing a walking boot. He had crutches, avoiding any weight on that left foot, as it's feared it is called now turf toe. But we've seen players with turf toe miss a handful of games. But what is the degree of this injury that it would differentiate him from maybe just immobilization and rehab versus now needing surgery?
Well, Kiana, absolutely great questions. Listen, despite the win, Bengal fans still haven't taken a full deep breath just quite yet. So Joe Burrow, while trying to avoid a sack, got caught under the pile and sustained a turf toe injury on his left side. Well, let's break that down. Turf toe is a tear of the underside of the ligaments of the big toe. So if this is a foot, it'd be the underside of the ligament. So it's a hyperextension injury. Extremely painful. It significantly affects running, push off, change direction. And why is it so important? Well, 60 to 70% of our body weight is supported by that big toe. Surgery is quite rare, but these ligaments still need to heal. So I fully expect them to miss between 3 and 6 weeks. Now, there's a little bit of a litmus test at about week 3. What is that? At about week 3, they actually customize an insole for his cleat that has a steel plate on the undersurface of his foot to basically offload that big toe. Now, when they test him with that steel plate, if he still has instability and pain with running and push-off, unfortunately, then he still needs time to rest. So that's a real litmus test at about week 3. But like I said, great sign, and you said it as well, that he was walking full weight, going into the locker room, and then in a boot after that. I mean, listen, as we know, there are injury timelines, and then there are Joe Burrow injury timelines. So you never bet against Joe Cool.
Okay, with that being said, because we know they're talking about surgery, and you talked about the litmus test happening between 3 and 6 weeks. What does that timeline look for, like you said, a guy like Joe Burrow, considering he's a quarterback? Is this number you're giving us, this range, is it optimistic, is it realistic, or is it maybe a little bit conservative when you're considering the type of player Joe Burrow is?
Yeah, without question, 3 to 6 weeks is optimistic. Those ligaments, when they tear, are extremely painful. But let's also think another little point that we forget. Football cleats have a very hard plastic bottom, right? A plastic shell. Inherently, that hard plastic shell really protects the undersurface of the foot. So you can imagine the amount of force needed to not only break through that kind of plastic shell, but also then affect the joint. So we take that, basically almost take that for granted. So 3 to 6 weeks is optimistic, but I feel good about that because it is Joe Burrow. However, like I said, surgery is rare. It really is rare. And also on video, we didn't see the type of severity that we would normally see with turf toe injuries that do require surgery.
Okay, now when you talk about it might not have been to that point where surgery is needed, how are you, from what you're seeing, just when you see that play and how everything took place, how can you kind of differentiate whether surgery might be needed or whether this is something that it's rehab, immobilization, so on and so forth? What is that? What's that difference maker between the two?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. They actually got him an MRI very quickly because they were concerned, obviously franchise player and all that. But the MRI, without question, confirmed the ligament tears on the undersurface of the foot. Now, surgery is never route 1, okay? It's always down the road if we need it. So they're going to be very conservative, immobilize them for a number of weeks, allow the ligaments to heal, avoid push-off that would stress those ligaments on push-off, and work on pain, swelling, range of motion, etc. on the conservative side. Now, when they start to implement the weight bearing, the push-off, that's when they really will know if the extent of these ligament tears right, really might require surgery. Once again, it is rare. But that's a really great question because we start conservative always. Unlike an ACL, we know we're going to surgery. Always try to repair this first. Why? Those ligaments are very strong on the undersurface of the foot. Remember what I said, 60% of our body weight are supported by that big toe. So once he starts to stress it, then we will know if it's going to be short-term or really long-term. We just don't know yet, despite an MRI earlier today.
So we understand how this turf toe comes about, but I just want to throw out a really quick one for you. Say they do go the route of surgery, which you said is rare. Is there still a possibility that something like this can return for a player?
Oh, listen, because it is rare, once it's repaired, it heals stronger than it ever was. He will have that supportive insole long-term without question, but I don't expect any kind of, not only short-term, the short-term essentially would be the time off from surgery. I expect no long-term issues at all. Plenty of players have had it despite it being rare, but they'll have that extra layer of protection with that customized insole. That would be about, if he does have surgery, about 3 months out. He'd still come back for the second half of the season. And as we saw today, man, that Bengal culture, it's next man up. They didn't even blink. He went out, they didn't even blink. Impressive, no, indeed.
Absolutely. I'm quite certain, though, regardless if it's next man up or not, Bengals fans hoping that it's on that shorter end, surgery not required for Joe Burrow, hoping to get him.
Trying to send some good news.
Exactly. As always, Marty, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. So keeping fingers crossed, say Joe Burrow's back within 3 weeks. Well, coming up, they've got a meeting with the Vikings, Broncos, and then the Lions. That 3-week range right there, but they follow that up with meetings with the Packers and Steelers. We did talk about surgery. That would keep him out up to 3 months, potentially. Might be there for the back end of this schedule. But as of now, fingers crossed, Burrow on the lighter side of this turf toe injury.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.